All right, let's go O-line.
Like I said, the 49ers.
Here, I'll read them out first. Here we go. On Seahawks, this is what the Seahawks got on the offensive line. Charles Cross, Gray Zabel, Olu Oluwatimi, Christian Haynes, Abraham Lucas from left to right. Then Rams. I'll just read them real quick. Alaric Jackson, Steve Avila, Coleman Shelton, Kevin Dotson, and Rob Havenstein. Cardinals got Paris Johnson, Evan Brown, a center whose name I can't even begin to pronounce. Can you?
Yelda Froholt.
There it is. Isaiah Adams at right guard and Jonah Williams at right tackle. And then the Niners, of course, have Trent Williams, Ben Barch, Jake Brendel, Dominic Pooney, Colton McKivitz. That's what we're talking about.
This is about group, right? So the thing about O-line is like, all right, three things that factor into O-line. Depth is very, very, very important for offensive line.
True.
The other thing is the coach. So I'm not sure who the 49ers coach is.
Chris Forrester.
And then I would say
Forrester.
Youth is pretty important.
Mm-hmm. That's true. The Niners, I mean, they have Pooney and Burford, who are kind of young. And that's about it.
I really like Pooney. From what I've seen, personally, like, I'm not going to act like some offensive line connoisseur. And the stats that I've checked out, the best offensive line in the division last season, and that has remained mostly the same, and has a young core, and has an up-and-coming offensive O-line coach, is the Cardinals. You know, you got Paris Johnson, who we drafted with the sixth pick in the 2023 draft. Jonah Williams, he was a top 10 pick. He didn't play for majority of the year last year. Kelvin Beatrick stepped in, and we still ended up with a top 10 offensive line. According to the statistics, we have one of the best centers in the league that 49ers fans do not know about. But if you go and check out Yelda Froholt,
I can't even pronounce his name.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, people don't know this, though, because they don't know about the Arizona Cardinals. And, you know, our guard position, it can be better, but those guys are lifted up just by the simple fact that they're surrounded by Yelda Froholt. But I wouldn't be mad if you were to give it to the Rams, just for the simple fact that they have Bo Limmer, like you said, Hardenstein. Like, they got guys. They got guys there that are.
Larry Jackson's good. Steve Avila's good.
And Steve Avila, I like those guys. I like those guys. I'm not going to put the Niners last here, but they can very well, once again, end up being last in the division if Trent Williams gets hurt. Because if Trent Williams gets hurt, who's behind him?
That's what when he's out, they have the worst offensive line in the division. The Seahawks have had the worst offensive line in the division for like 10 years in a row, but they did draft Gray Zabel in round 1 this year, and that's a much bigger investment than the Niners made.
The Seahawks are sneaky though, because last year they drafted Christian Haynes. That was the guard from UConn.
Right.
I really liked him as a prospect. And then Michigan, they drafted Oluwatimi.
That's true. So that's 2 starters.
They got
Charles Cross is a good left tackle when healthy.
They've been investing, so I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I would not be surprised.
They've had injuries, really. Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross have missed hella games.
Yeah, they are very.
And Gray Zabel's going to be a good guard. He's going to be a really good left guard.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we were looking back at the end of the season and we were like, okay, the Seahawks have the best offensive line in the division. But just for me, like, they have to prove it just because they've been bad for so long.
Yeah. So, no, the Niners definitely could have the worst offensive line in the division. I mean, it's not good. I mean, they have Andre Dillard as their Jalen Moore replacement. That's kind of scary. All right, let's go defense. Defensive line, these are the starting units, starting with the Niners, of course. You got Bosa, Michael Williams, and then at defensive tackle, they could go Jordan Elliott, Kevin Givens, or CJ West, Alfred Collins. Then the Cardinals, you got Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson, Darius Robinson as your 3-down guys, and then your outside linebackers, you got
can't forget about
Walter Nolan instead of Darius Robinson.
They're probably all playing. Like
that's true. Yeah. And then you also got Josh Sweat and Baron Browning, Zaven Collins, BJ Ojolari.
It's stacked.
Pretty deep. It's pretty deep. The Rams have a very good defensive line. Braden Fiskey, Poona Ford, Kobe Turner, and then the edge rushers are Byron Young and Jared Verse. And then the Seahawks have Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, Jaron Reed, and DeMarcus Lawrence and Uchenna Nwosu. Some pretty good D lines, man.
Yeah, that's probably the strength of the NFC West. Their D lines.
Prize Picks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for playing. Use promo code COHN, COHN, and download the app now.
But it is a weakness for the 49ers.
It kind of is until further notice.
It's a weakness for the 49ers. Like, legitimately, it is. In terms of ranking this one, like, it's the Rams. Like, the Rams have Kobe Turner, a guy drafted in the 6th round, absolutely should have probably won Rookie of the Year that year that he was drafted. Jared Verse won Rookie of the Year. Runner-up was Braden Fisk. They just drafted somebody I like in Josiah Stewart. Their depth is good. The Rams always draft everybody that I like. Like, I hate the Rams.
Yeah.
Like,
they got Poona Ford too.
Yeah,
Poona added him.
Sneaky good run defender. Like,
sneaky good.
They're one until further notice.
I agree.
Until further notice,
because they had a great pass rush last year, but they needed Poona Ford. Now they got him.
Yeah, now they got somebody to actually stuff that run.
Yeah. So they're 1. 2. You're gonna say?
I'm gonna give it to the Seahawks for now.
Really?
I'm gonna give it to Seahawks.
Leonard Williams is a damn good player.
Am I? Because
I feel like I would almost go with the Cardinals right here. I don't know. Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson and Walter Nolan and Josh Sweat.
No, you're right. The Seahawks, in terms of the top end talent, like Leonard Williams could easily be like, all right, but we haven't seen, like, we don't know if that was just like Leonard Williams being a flash in the pan, popping up for one season, and then, is he going to be the same guy next year? In terms of depth, this is probably, like, no bias. Once again, I know I keep saying this.
Zero bias.
Yeah. This is probably one of the deepest defensive line groups in the entire NFL.
Yeah.
In the entire NFL, like,
because it's got youth and it's got a bunch of outside free agents.
Yeah, it's got veterans. It's got Josh Sweat, Baron Browning, Zaven Collins. Like, these guys are probably not gonna pop, and BJ Ojolari. These guys are probably not gonna pop off for 10, 15 sacks in a year. But if every one of these guys could at least get 4 sacks, we're talking about a team that could go from having 40 sacks in a season to 60 sacks.
And that's sort of what Jonathan Gannon had his last year.
Eagles did. Exactly. Yep. That's what the
Eagles did. And it was a deep
D
line.
Exactly.
5-man front.
It's not always about that top end talent. But yeah, you made me switch my mind. Hey, I'm not biased. Grant made me change my mind.
I would go with the Cardinals, and I think they're deeper than the Seahawks, and I would go with the Niners. Last again, although they made a bunch of investments in the D line in particular. By the end of the season, it could absolutely be better than Seattle's.
They could, but I don't see it. Like,
I mean, Chenna Nwosu's been in and out with injuries.
No, you're right. He had that one flash in the pan season where he dropped like 9 or 10 sacks. But it's just like, okay, even without Chenna Nwosu, they have Boye Mafe, and Boye Mafe is pretty good, and I think he's just getting better. And they just added they have Leonard Williams. They just added DeMarcus Lawrence. So it's just like, the 49ers D-line, other than Nick Bosa, nobody's really, like, even in terms of a prospect. Like, Michael Williams, I'm sorry, he doesn't move me in terms of a pass rusher. Like, I know he's really good against the run, but in terms of pass rush, getting after the quarterback, forcing the ball out of the quarterback's hands fastly, he's not somebody that actually scares me. Like, he's not somebody.
Fair enough.
Currently, maybe in a year or 2 and 3 years, he develops and he becomes a guy that's really dominant. But right now, his rookie year, I just don't see him developing that fast to be somebody.
Yeah, he's a 20-year-old talking about he needs to develop a pass rush plan. Like, that tells you pretty much what you need to know.